Hey, hey, hey! You guys, I'm just waiting on Marianna, but we are discussing The Cruel Prince today. I'm so excited. So excited. We will be talking about all three books. So we'll start, obviously, with book 1, and then we'll move on to book 2 and 3. So if you have only read one or the other, feel free to leave when we move on to the next book. We've just got to wait for Marianna. She'll be here in a second. Just adding her in now. How do I add someone? There we go. Invite.
You said not to leave you hanging, so I'm not.
I know, I was just like, please don't leave me hanging, so I'm here on my own for like...
Like, I won't, I promise. I promise I won't. Okay, now I want to eat this banana. I don't know why. It's just sitting here now, and I feel bad that I grabbed it for, like, no reason, but whatever. It's fine. It's
I
all
got my
good.
books. Oh my god, your bookshelf looks so good. Wait, let me...
I'm so excited. I have a feeling I'm gonna mess this up. I already know I'm gonna say something in Cruel Prince that's in Wicked King, or something in Wicked King that's in Queen of Nothing, but it's okay. It's been like over a year since I've read these. I literally...
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, wait, when did I don't even remember when I started them, but I know that I would like read them in a hammock on campus by the fountain to like wait for my friends to like we could actually go home, and I just, oh my god, that was a time in my life. Wow. Anyway.
I love that. I read them as they're released, so I had to wait a year in between each of them. Sad times. Sad times. Anyway, book 1. I feel like it really starts off pretty intense because what's his name? Maddox? How do you say it? I feel like I'm gonna say all of their
I
names
say
wrong.
Maddox. I
Maddox?
don't know if that's right though.
Yeah, but he basically comes and like he kills their parents and he takes Jude and Taryn to Fairyland. And what's her name? Vivi. Does Vivi go with them at first? Because then she goes back later, doesn't she?
Yes, Vivi's actually his, I'm pretty sure, because he and the mom had Vivi, and then the mom remarried after she left Maddox, took Vivi, remarried, and then had Jude and Talon. Is that how you say your name?
Taryn?
Taryn. I say it differently every time I read it, so I'm just like, but yeah, Taryn. Yeah, and she's like 7.
Yeah, but then it kind of jumps to when she's 17, doesn't it? And Jude, I mean, I thought it was great because what I found interesting about Jude is I feel like people are always like, oh, it's like enemies to lovers and everything, which obviously, like, yeah, but I feel like the book is solely focused on kind of political moves more than romance. And Jude she almost envies them. Like, she envies their beauty, she envies the Fae, which I loved how she was written because I was just like, she hates them, and it's almost that she hates that she wants to be them. Which I loved. I loved that about the character.
Yeah, I just think of Jude and I'm like, oh, I love these characters so much. The way that Holly Black you can tell she has a particular style that she carried into The Stolen Heir, and I love it. You're in the middle of reading it, so I'm not gonna say anything about it. But there is a lot of it's a different type of fae that you would think about compared to like Sarah J. Maas. Like there's a lot more like what was that? I don't know what just happened. It was a weird sound. Like for example, like these fae can't lie. And I love it. I love it because the way that Carden finds ways to work around it is just brilliant, and I love him for it, as well as Oak. Oak does a really good job about that too. But yeah.
No, I did love how Holly writes her fae, because it's like you obviously go into it thinking of one type of fae if you've read like other books before, but then when you read Holly Black's fae, it's like, oh my gosh, like she's written them so differently, and even like their appearances, like the fan art for the Cruel Prince is like elite, like it's insane. I die every time somebody releases a new one. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's amazing.
And there's so many different fonts too. Something as simple as like Jude's hair. Like all it says, I think the only descriptor is that she finishes binding my hair into an elaborate style that makes me look as though I have horns. I kind of imagine it as like half up, half down, like little horns like here. Some people think like the whole hair is like up in a horn. Some people like there's just so many ways to envision these characters, and I just love every interpretation. It's so fun. And they all have this weird quirkiness to them that Sarah doesn't really give her characters. Like, Bat Boys are hot. I'm just gonna say it. They are just fine men. These fae, these characters are fine creatures. I just don't know how else. They're fine men, don't get me wrong, but like there's more of that creaturey side that we kind of get in like Tamlin's Garden. This is like what they like. That's like what the similarities in my mind where they are. But yeah,
which is great. And we'll come back to kind of like the beginning of the book, obviously, like so they were taken and they're brought back and raised in Fairyland. And then Jude wants to become like a knight. Like she wants to kind of, and that's where I feel like one of the biggest what's the word? One of the biggest symbols in this book is like the power play between the characters. And so that's Jude's almost first step into going, this is how I'm taking control of my life again, because her control was completely taken away when she was pulled from like the human lands. And this is her kind of beginning of taking it back, which I love. I love that about her, how she's like, I'm going to make a name for myself.
Yes. And I remember, oh my goodness, I remember talking to Kiara about it. It's one of the moments where you're like telling somebody that Kiara reads though, but like she's just like, okay, you know, because I'm just like so excited and like spitting all these different things about Jude at her, and she's like, okay, like, you know. But I think one thing specific that I remember is not like Jude isn't brutal, like she is brutal, but like she's like all or nothing type of person, to the point where she, here come the spoilers, like stabs her own hand to prove a point. And that's some willpower right there. That's some willpower.
It's crazy. I've got on my arm. Like this hurts. I wouldn't stab my own hand.
Let alone. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ugh, and there's so many good little moments, and I'm just like hee hee hee. But I think, like you said,
yeah, you go. You go.
I was like, you think, what am I saying? Like how you said before, this definitely has enemies to lovers in it. It's just politic oriented.
Yeah, right? It's like a subplot. So when I see people constantly recommending The Cruel Prince as like an enemies to lovers romance trilogy, I'm like, no, it is a massive, massive subplot out of everything that happens in this book. Like there's so much more that you can talk about other than the romance. Like if a romance reader read this, I have no doubt that they would be like, what did I just read? Like I really did not like that. So I'm just like, no, it's political. It's political fae and a romance subplot.
I used to say if this series was like a $5 bill, the romance would be 2 cents because it's like so small. You know what I mean? There's so much going on. There's like you've got like the politics side, and then you've got like all the not treachery, but like it just seems like Carden and Jude's relationship is so much bigger than their feelings for each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she doesn't, like you said, she doesn't really idolize them, but I think he's like the worst one though. You know, he's got like 7 siblings or something like that. So he's this whole thing, and I'm thinking of changing Wicked King, but
I mean, not anymore, but he doesn't. but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that people talk about in the series is the bullying, because there is a bullying trope, obviously. Yeah. Carden is also quite brutal, which you kind of learn later on that it's because he doesn't like the fact that he has feelings for her, and so he takes it out by just absolutely tormenting her to the extreme. Like, it gets extreme, like he bullies her, and it does get to a point where it can almost seem childish, but I'm like, that's what bullying is. Bullying is childish, because some people have said that they don't like the childish aspect of it, but I'm like, when you think about it, all bullying is childish, because who bullies people? Children, or people that have minds of children, because they're not grown up enough to like handle the situation like an adult. Carden is not grown up enough to handle the situation like an adult, so he bullies her. But that a lot of people I know don't like that.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we find out in the first book, but I know he is. He, like, to escape his own trauma and torment, he reads like children's books, doesn't he? Read like Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, and is it Wizard of Oz? I can't remember which book specifically that he reads, but it's like he is treated like a child and not really given the chance to grow up until he's forced to, because he has no other option. And I think it's really great that you brought that point up, because I think there is definitely, it's a controversial topic, but it's hard to kind of say whether, oh my god, I love the childishness, or oh my god, I don't, because I think it's a lot of fun. Obviously, there's points where he takes it a little too far, but I mean, it's redeemable still, I think, in his case, with everything going on. So.
Yeah, and it kind of, every character in this book, which is what I love when I'm reading a book, whether it's a standalone or a trilogy, I really focus on the character development. So everybody starts somewhere. And Carden's character development arc, which we'll talk about once we finish the books, but his arc from book 1 to 3 is insane. So I'm like, he couldn't be perfect in book 1, and he couldn't be perfect in book 2. He's obviously, nobody's perfect, but like, he needed to start somewhere, and like, that was his story. That's where he started in his story. And like, as he was raised with those like 7 other siblings or whatever you said, like, and he was the youngest, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's the baby.
Like, obviously he's gonna be a child.
Yeah.
But what happened next? What was the Dane? Is it Dane that was stepping down from the
I'm pretty sure. Carden's dad.
Yeah, he was stepping down from the throne, and he was going to choose one of the 7 kids to kind of take his place. And that's when Jude started being a part of the tournament, which nobody else wanted to be a part of, especially Carden and all of his friends were like, no, you can't do it.
Dane is his brother. Sorry, I had to stop you there. Dane's his brother.
But wasn't...
It's likely that he will choose Prince Dane.
Oh, Dane was not... Right. Okay, yeah.
The High Ruler
because then Jude becomes Dane's spy, because she wasn't chosen, like, obviously in the tournament she didn't win or anything, but Dane is the one that was like, I actually like you, I was impressed by you, and that's how she kind of slips into the spy, and she's like, I didn't get what I wanted, but I will get to be a spy, and that kind of will help her, again, work her way towards her power.
The Court of Shadows, or are they just called the Shadows? I can't remember.
I don't know, but like there was Ghost, Bomb,
and the bomb.
Jude.
Oh my gosh, the roach. Oh my gosh, I love the bomb. The bomb is.
The roach.
Easily one of my favorite characters. She's so awesome.
I
Um,
loved Ghost.
when did he? Hold the
And she
phone.
does it for protection as well because she feels like I feel like with everything happening, everybody obviously dislikes her, but like she's a mortal in a fairy land, so like having a position of power for her was going, this is how I survive. So she's doing it not only for kind of like, I want to throw this in their faces, but I also want to survive. Like, I want to live.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like her because being mortal in the land of Fae is no walk in
Rough.
the park. Yeah, no walk in the park for sure. So for her to not, I guess, follow Taryn's train of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna obey, and I'm gonna do what they say. I'm gonna, be likable, lovable, whatever. She's like, no, I am who I am, and I'm gonna do what I need to do. I think it's awesome though because even though she wants, like, I don't think she really wants validation from them. She just wants it for herself. I think at the end of the day, like Jude just wants to do that for her because of everything she's gone through, not necessarily to like impress anybody. I mean, maybe Cardinal a little bit, but like maybe more like get back at him in that way. But I just,
I feel like,
oh,
yeah, I agree with that. I do feel like there's a little bit of, she wants to prove them wrong. In there, she's kind of just like, I want to prove that being mortal doesn't stop me from kind of reaching the same goals that you could achieve, like, which I love. It's almost like she's like, I'm doing this for myself, but along the way, I'm going to prove to you that I'm more than what you've, like, stereotyped me as, which I love. I love that about her.
there is a monologue that she has, and I'm only bringing this up because I used it in one of my auditions. Um, unless you want me to read it word for word,
Go for it.
it's
Go for
on.
it.
Oh, okay. It's on page 76. It's toward the bottom. Um, I don't remember if this isn't the tournament, I don't think. But it's basically like she's talking to Card and she's like, you think you can humiliate me? You can control me? I say, looking at him in those black eyes. Well, I think you're an idiot. Since you started being whoa. Since we started being tutored together, you've gone out of your way to make me feel like I'm less than you. And to coddle your ego, I have made myself less. I've made myself small. And I kept my head down. But it wasn't enough to make you leave Taryn and me alone. So I'm not going to do it anymore. And I literally screamed. I think Kiara ran into my room. She was like, what's wrong? I was like, oh my God, there was this big moment. And she just, like, it's such a nice little turning point where she's like, fuck, no, shoot, that, just
Done.
screw that. Like,
Yeah.
she's just like, screw that. This is what's happening. And then she's like standing in front of him. I think she's actually kneeling at this point, but she like stands up and I'm like, like, go girl, like, yes, the power. I love it.
I know, I love it. And I feel like a big person that kind of gets overlooked and um, torn apart is Taryn. I find her character very interesting. Like, obviously, when I first read it, not gonna lie, I did not like her. But when I kind of read the next few books and I kind of looked back on it and I went, you know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of Elaine. Um, because I'm like, she doesn't do the typical, like, I'm the main protagonist in a fantasy series and I'm going to step up when nobody else has, and I'm going to learn to fight, and I'm going to do all this, and I'm going to become that, like, super powerful person. She's like, I'm going to learn how to survive in a different way, and she befriends them. She slips into the, like, almost like a persona that she takes on to kind of make people like her, which is a power play in its own. Like, Jude finds her power through violence, which we love,
Yeah.
but and it fits her character. But Taryn doesn't. She finds her power through being a part of the political aspect, and making people like her because then they listen to her. And I'm like, people are like, oh, she's weak. But I'm like, no, that's not weakness. It's just she's finding her power in a different way, and I think that's really smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and it's funny because even Holly knows, like, I've seen so many videos of her being like, asked, like, who is her least favorite character? And she's always like, well, I know who your guys' least favorite character is. And I think it's so funny. But I think she also goes through development because Holly portrays her as this delicate flower that's, like, very nice and, like, okay, I'll do, like, the nice thing, the right thing. But then at the end, her and Jude battle, and it's not something you think they would do. I mean, maybe considering Maddox raised them for most of their lives at this point. So it's just an interesting way to see Taryn turn, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I do think the thing she did with Locke, that was a little bit of a crappy move when she was like, "Oh, by the way, somebody might ask for my hand in marriage," and then Jude has this like secret relationship with him, and then later finds out it's Locke that is.
Sorry,
I was
I'm thinking
like,
of things.
oh no.
Oh my god. I said, oh, I don't even know how I got to this page. But she's in Cardin's room right now, and it's Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass.
Oh,
That was right. Oh wow, let me go.
you
I
were
was
right.
like, oh my god.
We were all pissed at Locke. We were. We did not like him.
Oh yeah. He got what he deserved.
Yeah. Holy
Which
crap.
is
Yeah.
also another power move on her behalf,
Was that
I
in
feel
book
like.
one? Was that in book one?
I think so. Because I'm thinking of the
Sure.
garden. Well, hello. I'm also thinking of the garden scene where her and Locke are. Yeah. Right?
Because she puts his
They're like
body
kissing
under
or
her
something,
dress,
and like
doesn't
she's
she?
watching Cardin as he's like watching her while he's making out with somebody else. Like isn't that in this book? Isn't that in this one?
I think so.
Where they're both like making out with other people but watching each other, I think.
Yeah.
I
Pretending for eye
don't
contact.
know.
But at that same time that we also find out that Oak is actually the child of Day, and I don't know how to pronounce the other one's name, Lirio,
Sure.
who was killed.
Sure.
And so he actually has the right to the throne, which actually I forgot to mention was at the coronation, which isn't that when
Isn't that when? Oh no, you're.
oh no,
Oh,
that happened before.
what?
I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, Jude basically finds out that about Oaks.
Well, she has to at the. Oh my god.
So she knows the truth.
She has to know about Oak by the end of this one because Cardin's crowned at the end of this one.
And then what the
Oh no, can you hear me?
with Pardon.
Libby! Someone comment Libby. Libby. Spam the comments with Libby. Spam the comments with Libby. I need her. Can you hear me, Libby? Oh no, she's frozen too. Chat, can you hear me at least? Oh, Libby. Can you hear me? Someone's like, Libby, hon, you're glitching. Welcome to our live. I'm like, welcome everybody. How are we doing? We're talking about The Cruel Prince, and Libby is having some technical difficulties. We've had a technical difficulty. Hey! I think about that every single time. Like Harry Styles just plays in my brain. 24-8. 25-8. I know. I know, they're gorgeous. Mine were organized by color. But then I just added these shelves, and now I've got them not coordinated, organized. Oh my gosh, words are great. Organized by size, but I might switch back to color. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm obsessed with these books, and I don't even remember them. Like Libby did her research and like went back and like checked scenes and everything, and I just didn't. I didn't. So I'm just going off memory and like what I love about them. English isn't Englishing. That is very true. That is very, very true. I read words, I don't speak words. That's what I always say. I read, I don't speak. Oh my gosh. Yes, the covers are so pretty. I didn't put, well, you can't even see. They're gorgeous. And The Stolen Heir, which is right here. I love the like cage is so, I love Holly Black. They're great. She's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because sometimes I'm like, oh boy. You'd think with, I don't even know how many lives have we done like this, and I still am just not having it. Okay. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! How is it? How are you? Where are you at? How's it going? How are you? Libby hasn't finished it, but I have. And quite frankly, my world is crumbling around me. I need her to finish House of Sky and Breath like now, and she hasn't yet. Today's covers. Yes, and even, I don't know, oh, it's decent enough. Like, even the actual book itself, I have the hardcover copy. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's so good. I won't say anything. I won't say anything. And this technically isn't a spoiler, but I will say that there is one line that is only one word that blew my mind at the very end. It's like 750 something, page 750 something. But, oh, I don't know what she's doing.
Am I back yet?
Oh, yep.
Yeah?
Hi.
I'm working?
You're working. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty early on. Only in the turn. That's okay. That's okay. You just keep trucking along. Work through it. Welcome back, Libby. Yay! She's back, everybody. I'm not by myself.
Apologies.
How dare you? How dare your internet fail?
It's because my room is like all the way at the other end of the house and in the worst possible Wi-Fi area. So we just have to sacrifice the bookshelves behind me.
Okay, because we want to try and get through all 3 books, and we've almost for about a half hour. I'm just gonna and what am I saying? English isn't Englishing. Continue about Locke. The line where they're dancing, Jude and Locke are dancing, and Carden cuts in, and he's like, "Time to change partners." Did I steal your line? Oh!
Yeah. Yes, Lord. You can.
Oh my god. Whoa. It stuck with me the whole book, and I love him.
One of my favorite lines of that book was, instead of being afraid, I could become something to fear. I was like, girl.
Yes. Girl, yeah. Go. Go, girl, go. Oh my gosh, now I'm just like spitting. There's like single liners that I'm just like giggling at over here because I'm just like, oh my god, Carden.
Them, I will become so much worse.
Yes!
That was a good one. That like sums up the whole series. Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, her hair is gorgeous. I feel like, okay, hear me out. Okay. Hear me out. Okay. Carden, Moore, and Jack Sparrow, they would just always be drinking together. They would just be having a time. Because they're just always after the rum, the wine, name it, they're drinking it. You know what I'm saying?
So true. So true. I forgot how much of a wine drinker Carden is. Can we just talk about as well for a second before we jump into book 2? The coronation when all of his siblings literally got slayed and he was under the table drinking wine. And Jude found him and he's just chilling there and he's just like what's the wine?
He was having his own little time. I don't recall, but the part where she's like, I can't remember if he says we gotta get out of here or she says we gotta get out of here. I'm pretty sure it's her. And they're just like crawling under the tables to like escape from it. Oh my god.
I know. That was like
this kid was living. Yee! I was holding it up for a while, and of course, the second I put it down, people were like, "Wait, what book are you talking about?" I'm like, "Hey,
I feel like
I did too. It's okay if you can't remember, because I kind of do and I kind of don't. I'm just really obsessed, and I feel like if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to talk about these books because it was that long ago that I read these. But
I feel like we've talked about. Oh my gosh! Wait. Okay, last one before we jump into the next book. I promise. When Carden says, "Have I told you how hideous you look tonight?"
Wait,
and
that's in this one?
Like, no, tell me. And he's like, I can't.
Like I said, it's the way he works around those not being able to tell them. Oh my god! I thought that was in Wicked King. Okay.
No, and it's like how he's indirectly saying, I like you. But like in a way that's like, I'm actually offended with the way you said that. But like we read that and we go, oh, how romantic. But if that was said to me in person, I would cry. I'd be like,
I think I'd fall on the floor. If someone walked up to me and said, have I told you how hideous you look? My brain would go, no? And then they'd be like, I can't. And they'd be like, I know what you're doing. And then I'd freak out. Like,
yeah. I'd immediately, however, jump into, if they were like, have I told you how hideous you are? I'd be like, no, but I already know, so you don't need to tell me. And then I'd walk away before they even get the chance to, like, redeem themselves.
I can see this happening, and if it does when we live together, I'm gonna be like, no, go back over there. I'll be like, go back.
I'd be like, no, I'm not going anywhere. You can go redeem it, but I'm not going anywhere. You'd be like, I apologize for my friend's behavior. She's a little bit dull sometimes.
So, we're tired. It's been a long day, even though it hasn't. We're tired and it's been a long day. She's just a little, woo. Anyway. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Second book. We're going to the second book. Wait, hold on. I'm just checking to make sure. There's so many cute, like, little quips. Phase 4. Whenever he whispers, I'm like, I'm just like...
I feel like...
Any day. Oh my gosh.
I kind of just picture Carden low-key tipsy throughout the whole book 1.
Ooh, true power can't be taken away. I just saw that in the comments. I'm like, oh, damn.
Love. Okay, but book 2 starts with Carden in his new role. Carden is engaged
puppet in a crown.
to Locke.
Is this when Locke's like underneath her bed? And I can't remember if it's Carden that walks in, but someone else walks in and she's just like, hi, how you doing? Like casual conversation. Meanwhile, she's got
a dead
hoo-hoo-pa-choo underneath her bed. Clocked out.
Hang on, maybe Locke isn't dead yet because Taryn... Oh wait, no, maybe he is and Taryn just didn't know it. Because Taryn...
That is true. Chloe did love every second of it. I swear he did. Even if he says he didn't, I don't believe that. He definitely did. Okay, I'm gonna get a little weird, but I'm just going with it. He's got bottom energy and I appreciate it.
Carden, 100%, he's a pillow princess.
Carden.
Pillow princess.
I love it though.
Yeah.
He can have his little moment. I think he's a nice
Jude,
little
it wouldn't work if he wasn't, because Jude is not a bottom.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, Nicasia? she kind of has more of a role in this book because she's like the former lover for Cardan, who was like,
that is a good line.
She was interesting.
Until I'm sick of it. Sorry, I'm like listening to you, but I'm also reading the comments, so I'm like,
you're fine.
Like, kiss me again, kiss me until I'm sick of
like
it.
really blind, so every time I read the comments, I'm like,
I know, me too, and I've got a lazy eye to begin with, so my eyes are probably like, ooh, doing some weird dance thing.
No, I'm just remembering what happens. I feel like it gets a lot more political in this book. Like, the first book was very outlined easily, but this one, so much arrives home. Because Jude, this is when she finds more mementos from Cardan's childhood and kind of digs into his mother. And then she goes home. Oh, no, Locke's still alive because at the revel he tries to, like, humiliate Jude by crowning her the Queen of Mirth. But as well...
Are you reading it that line? I'm like, how are you remembering all this?
Dot points.
Because I was like, how are you doing this? I do have to point out this line, though, because I not only marked it green, which is just a generally good quote, but it's so freaking true. I've heard that for mortals. Here we go. I've heard that for mortals, the feeling of falling in love is very like the feeling of fear. Your heart beats fast, your senses are heightened, and you grow lightheaded, maybe even dizzy. Later on, when Cardan's like, Jude, are you scared of me? Or like, do I scare you? I think I like levitated maybe 3 or 4 feet in the air for a minute because I just jumped with joy. I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, I did. I shipped Ghost and Jude. Sorry, again, I was just reading a comment. I did, but nobody else did, and so I felt like I was being illegal ever saying it, but I did. At one point, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with the Ghost, and I would not be mad if they ended up with, Jude. I thought that could have been like a...
I agree, however, I don't think I ever actually shipped them together for a long period. I think there were moments where I was like, oh my god, that'd be so cute, but then I was like,
I wouldn't have been mad if it was like a side fling, like instead of Locke, it was Ghost.
Ooh, yes, there you go.
I also did not remember Jude and Cardan hooking up in this book.
They didn't.
They didn't?
Nope, not until the Queen of Nothing.
Oh, I thought so.
They were horizontal, but they weren't. They literally had, like, I think, 1 kiss in The Cruel Prince, 1, maybe 2 kisses in The Wicked King, and then they finally got together in The Queen of Nothing.
Right. Okay, well...
Like I said, 2 cents out of $5.
We're back to when Jude then goes... Well, she threatens Locke for kind of humiliating her, and then she goes and collects all the other siblings for the wedding, which is coming up, which is Oak, Vivi, and Heather, which is Vivi's girlfriend.
Love Heather.
I love her, and they're all back for the wedding. They're all in Fairyland. I loved that because I was like, oh, I feel like stuff's happening now that more people are kind of coming to Fairyland. And then Jude's attacked. I forgot about that. She's attacked. But she's... I wanted a Cardan... I'm a sucker for the hurt comfort trope. And so I was waiting... I was waiting for hurt comfort trope. So I was waiting for, like, Jude to get injured and Cardan be like...
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't think it ever happened.
I think we all are. I mean, it was kind of reversed. I think, didn't he get hurt and she... Well...
Which makes more sense. Cardan would 100% lose in, like, most battles he goes into, because he freaking drinks under tables at slaughterhouses. And Jude's out there, like, taking it on. Hurt Comfort is elite.
Yeah, Hurt Comfort. I didn't know that's what that was called. I should have known that, and I did not. Yeah, it's fine. At the end of this book? Or at the end of Queen of Nothing? Because I'm pretty sure it's at the end of Queen of Nothing, isn't it? You'll have a bit of Cardan in us. I mean... I love that idea. I love that.
Oh my god.
I think we have a little bit of both, honestly.
At the ball, when Jude confronts Locke and Cardan rocks up already, like, drunk. Although we think he's drunk. He's actually been poisoned.
Oh
I
my god.
I think this is when...
I know I'm thinking of something specific and Quinn nothing. But the fact that she wears his dress, not like his dress, but the dress he sent to her without even knowing it's from him. Imagine! I don't even think we were told how he responded to that. I don't think we ever got his reaction. Like, I need a whole new series in his perspective alone. I think it does go back and forth at some point, but genuinely, and I was getting Starfall vibes a little bit, not gonna lie. The dress seems like it fit well in Starfall, but like generally I was like, oh my, man's got taste. Man has got taste. Okay.
Better taste than everyone. Like,
oh my God.
The way I want to do a gender band cosplay of Carden, I've got his hair. I've got his hair. I can do it. Oh my gosh, we can be Carden and Jude.
Let's do it. I'm serious.
We so should. Oh my gosh, this is when they marry. Like, Carden convinces Jude to, like, release him in exchange for marriage. And then he betrays her by exiling her to the mortal world.
The way that this man has control of the frickin' land, and he's just laying around, chilling like it's no big deal.
This was so funny because he marries her and then bans her, but I'm like, and says only a royal can, like, over... You just got married to the king. You are a royal. Like,
in that moment, I know he was so proud of that. I know he was.
And the way that, like, and it's obviously we're talking about all three books, so I'm like the way that it comes back, and he's just like, I thought you were smart enough to figure it out. And she was like,
come on. Oh my gosh. And the way that I mean, I don't know who has the letters. They somehow got on Pinterest, but why weren't they in the books? Why weren't they, like, maybe they were in, like, in the latest edition or something. I don't know. But I didn't even know about the letters until, like, months after I'd finished. And I think we were cheated. I think we were cheated. Holly could have so embedded them in such a powerful way that it's just, like, it's like that final tweak in Carden's character. I mean, he's never, like, a finished product. But, like, they're just, oh my god, once you read them, it's like...
Alright, some of our favourite quotes from the book. Mine is when Carden is like, kiss me again.
Okay, I already said that one.
Sick of it.
I already said that one. The way that I just flipped to it randomly and it's right there, it's insane.
I love it.
Oh my god, that's crazy. For a moment, I wondered if it wasn't you shooting bullets at me. What made you decide it wasn't? They missed.
Yes. Okay, but what about when Carden was like going off at them for using murder as a solution to everything? And he's like, the three of you have one solution to every problem. Murder. Someone tries to betray the High King. Murder. Someone gives you a harsh look. Murder. Someone disrespects you. Murder. Someone ruins your laundry. Murder. I love him.
Okay. The way that they're both just like, this is an absolute terrible idea, but then he's like, I want to tell you so many lies. I don't know what that means exactly, but I have pretty few ideas up in my head.
You must be strong enough to strike and strike and strike again without tiring. I love that.
Beautiful.
What about, you're the sickness, I suppose you can't also be the cure.
I think I wrote that down, didn't I? I think that's in one of our T-Stain Page's Instagram posts.
I think so, yeah.
Because that's so true on so many different levels. That's got to be a green tab in here somewhere, I swear. Because generally...
Oh my gosh, okay, but like, when he looks at her and he's like, for a moment I wondered if it wasn't you shooting bolts at me, and make a face at him, and what made you decide it wasn't? He grins. They missed.
No, I just said that.
Did you?
Yes!
The way that I'm just not listening.
I literally just said that!
It's just going in one ear and out the other. I need to go back to bed.
Fair enough. Cardin's the topic. It's. Oh, I've got something probably controversial that I probably shouldn't talk about on live, but I think I'm going to anyway because it's kind of funny. We can talk about it at the end, though.
Oh, but now I'm curious. You have to say it.
Okay, so brace yourselves. Okay, so you know how I always talk about how I don't want, if there were a film interpretation, I don't want Timothy Chalamet playing Cardin because then Cardin wouldn't be Cardin would be Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Well, something happened randomly. I honestly don't remember what specifically it was, but I was watching a video of the Starting Hill triplets, and Matt said something or did something, and I was like, I don't know what it was. I don't know when, but at one point I was just like, you know what? I was like, he can play Cardin. And I don't know why. I don't even think it had anything to do with like their acting video where Nick is like, you know, let's act, and they have the whole poison beans, or I can't remember what they were feeding each other, but I was like, you know what? I mean, he's already got the jewelry, bloody hell, but that's just,
Yes, we love the triplets here.
We do. We really do. Oh. Sweet Jude, you are my dearest punishment.
Ah. Okay, wait. I live by this. Kill him before he makes you love him. Yes. That is like what every person with like trust and abandonment issues lives by.
Okay, another decent quote, but not to do anything romantic. A sword is a weapon of war. A dagger is a weapon of murder. I don't know why, maybe this also isn't good to talk about on live, but if I were ever in battle, my choice of weapon would be a sword or a dagger, because I feel like G1 is cowardice in a way, where I feel like if I'm in battle, I want it to be personal. So I feel like blades are personal, where bullets are, they're just like whatever. I don't know why. Some people might think that's strange or weird to say, but that's just how my brain works.
See, my weapon of choice,
or arrows. I could do archery too.
Oh, I can see you with that. My choice is a dagger, because I'm gonna need to be there with the person. They need to be right in front of me so I can just. Otherwise, I won't see them. Like, because really bad vision here, so I need to be there to be like, okay, this is the person I actually want to hit.
That's fair. But yeah, either blade or arrows would be my choice of weapon. I feel like I'd use arrows until I ran out and then switch to a blade.
I can see you as an archer. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Should we move on to book 3?
Yes, but any character that lays down and is just like, lay with me, not in like any sexual way, but just like to like cuddle or just like be present with each other. Okay. Like I'm just let's go to book 3.
Jude is now 19. How old was she when we first started? 17, so it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. And she was exiled. I loved how this started because she was so salty. She was so salty at the start of the book because she was like kicked out.
Can we talk about the cover for a second?
Oh,
Can we talk about the cover?
Absolutely.
This cover is my favorite. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. Okay, carry on.
I'm just trying to remember how she gets back because I can't remember.
T-E-A-T. This world already has enough monsters, enough people who want to take advantage of me or hurt me or take away my rights. T. Woo! Holly was really shouting on that one.
Oh, she disguises herself as Taryn. That's how she does it. That's how she gets in.
I thought this was in book 2. I was looking for it. Nope, it's in book 3. So Okay, so Locke's still alive. So apparently he's under her bed in this book, not the second one. I know you liked her, says Locke. That's why I had her. That's why I had to have her first. Do you remember the party in my maze garden? How I kissed her while you watched? I recall that your hands were on her, but her eyes were on me. Carden returns. Oh my! You know what? This man has got suave. He's got suave. Oh, okay.
Okay, but just side note, Carden has like elite swagger and wit. Exactly the same as somebody else, and I don't know if you know who I'm thinking about, but like who's another like MC character that has like elite swagger and wit, and we're both obsessed with her. 8 series fantasy books.
Mm-hmm. I never know which name to use.
Selena.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't know if I use that name or she has like 5 names. Like,
Yeah.
It's insane, but yeah. Anyway,
I just feel like they're on the same wavelength.
oh, easily. Except, I don't think he plans as much without telling people.
Oh no, he's just.
I think his big act was banishing Jude, and that was the extent of his big plan.
Oh yeah.
Not much else other than the next glass of wine he's gonna have.
I honestly do not remember much from this book. I feel like it's just all a bit of like a rush, this one. Like, doesn't she join back with the spies and they all kind of like... I don't even remember what the big thing was. Doesn't Carden turn into a snake? Or like come out of a snake and he's naked and she like hugs him or something? I was very, very confused while reading that.
But because it was commented, I have to bring it up, even though it's one of my favorite scenes in the books. What are you doing? I say finally, desperately. What are you playing at? He looks at me as though somehow I'm the one who's behaving strangely. Jude, you can't really think I didn't know it's you. I knew you from the moment you walked through the I was like, obviously. The way that she was just like she's trying to be Taryn, and I'm like, girl, you're bonded. You're bonded. I don't think she ever said anything about mates or anything in these books, but like, did she really not think he would know?
I know.
Like, girl is wicked smart, but not all the time.
I also liked that they weren't classified as mates or anything, because I'm just like, sometimes love is just love. Like, it doesn't have to be some kind of in the stars already set in stone thing. It's like they hated each other. It wasn't set in stone. They literally grew to kind of... They learnt how to love each other, and I love that. I'm like, it wasn't a set in stone thing.
I agree. I think, especially with the different font of Fae, I'm just gonna say font because it's fun. The different font of Fae, not everything has to have that string, if that makes sense. Like, I know sometimes the mating bond is described as a thread, and I think I liked how that wasn't used in these books. They
100%
took their own little route, yeah.
Okay, one of the best quotes is, "Come home and shout at me, come home and fight with me, come home and break my heart if you must."
See, that's in the letters, and I'm so upset that they weren't in the books, because she could have done so much with those. Did she, like, drop those later, or did
you can get them on Tumblr? That's where I get all of my added things, because a lot of things for Australians, it's not available. You can't just go to Target and buy the exclusive edition. So I was like
on Pinterest, so
on Pinterest as well.
I don't have them either, but I just, oh my god, when I found those, especially because it had been a while after I had read the books, like, I still kind of had like the Cruel Prince marinating in my head, and to revisit that is such a strange, not strange, but like sensitive way. Like, he was really vulnerable in those letters, and it's just, oh man almighty.
Obviously the one that's used and you see everywhere. I'm like super like, hang on a second, have you said this already? Because I just can't, my brain is not retaining anything. The "by you I am forever undone."
Forever undone. Oh my gosh. I posted that on my story, I think just a couple hours ago, because it was like one of those Google Translate things where it's like English, I love you. Pardon Greenbrier, I am forever undone. Or it had Aaron Warner and then like his like quote, kind of like what you posted today, maybe yesterday, about Castile.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome. I know you love that.
Thank you for that. I greatly appreciated that little moment there.
It's I posted on our Tea Stained Instagram this one when he's like, "It's you I love. I spent so much of my life guarding my heart. I guarded it so well that I could behave as though I didn't have one at all. Even now, it's a shabby, worm-eaten thing, but it is yours. You probably guessed as much, but just in case you didn't." And I was like, "Oh, that was sweet. That was
cute." He makes himself sound like he's the Grinch, and I'm like, babe, you're not. Like, you're really not.
He's a little cinnamon roll. He really is.
You know what we haven't talked about yet?
What?
And maybe you don't want to, I don't know. But his tail.
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either. I think it's fun. I think it could be more useful than the wings, but in certain situations. But I mean, overall, the wings are more useful. But like at the end of the day,
don't bring up the tail.
I just fogged up my own glasses.
I'm sorry, but I am team tail. I am team tail.
Oh, wings?
I mean, like if I had a choice, wings. But like I'm also team tail. Oh my gosh, when Carden said he missed her, that was sweet. When he's like, in the mortal world, when I thought you were my enemy, I still missed you. He missed her.
That's described in the letters, and I'm like, Holly, you messed up. You messed up, girlfriend. Oh my gosh. I want to read like all of her other books, and these are the only ones that I've read other than Soul and Air, but it's tied in the same world.
Okay, you know how I mentioned earlier that I loved the hurt comfort trope? I've just been reminded while I'm reading through these dot points that there is a hurt comfort, except it's just not your typical thing. When Jude is injured and they're in Carden's room and Bomb's there with them and he's like, "This is my room and that's my wife." And Bomb's like, "So you keep telling everyone, but I'm going to take out her stitches and I don't think you want me to watch that." And Jude's like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe he'd like to hear me scream." And Carden's like, "I would, and perhaps one day I will." So I can't. I love him. I love him.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, I love him. I love him. I do. I really do. I love Carden. Oh my gosh. And
icon.
There's so many, I don't know how to describe them, but like, you know, like those fall scenes on Pinterest that you just like read? There's so many, like, just Nobel Prize winning, I don't know what you'd call it. They're just amazing. I love them so much to the point where I'm like, this has got to be canon. This is, oh my gosh, they're so good. They're so good. Some of them make Carden seem like a wimp, and I'm like, but when it comes to her, he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. I gotta.
Oh my gosh, but like, look at us go, first of all. We've discussed 3 books in an hour.
I know! I love talking about scenes though instead of lines, because I feel like when we're talking about specific quotes and specific lines, we're just like spitting them and like trying to get through like all of them at once. Where this way we could just talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Someone said don't bring up the tail. I'm sorry, but I did.
Bringing up the tail.
No. Yeah, they're like, don't
bring up the tail.
Thank
you for joining. Bye.
Have a wonderful night, morning, and afternoon, wherever you are. I hope it's great. Oh my goodness. Can we talk about her scene with Maddox real quick?
Which one?
The Chalice's one.
The what?
Where she poisons him, and he's
Oh,
like, "How did
yeah.
you know which one to poison or which one I'd pick?" She's like, "I poisoned both." Because this girl has been literally training. She's been taking poison every day for I don't even know how many books. I think she starts in like book 2 or something like that. It's crazy how dedicated she was to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that all the time. I'm like, that's another level of self-discipline that I don't think any human would put themselves through. Like, that's insane to poison oneself. I mean, woo! Oh my goodness. I loved reading these two so much. I think I read these. Did we know each other? I know I knew you, but were we on Snapchat yet when I was reading these books? I had to be, because I was reading Kingdom of Ash, I think, when we...
I think so. I'm pretty sure
It was a roller coaster. It really was.
I can't remember.
Too quick of one, too. Like, they're a really quick read. Like, generally, yeah, they're political, but at the end of the day, they're quick reads. I think that's the if you're about to top a category or a top label, whatever you want to call it, quick read. I think that's what I put these as. Like, I think I read them in like 3 or 4 days. But I don't think I was reading a book a day at this point, so maybe it was like 5 or 6. I don't know.
I also love that book 1 is the thickest. I've got to say, I do think book 1 was the best book. Like, obviously.
I think book 3 in ACOTAR is the biggest, but book 2 is... Like, book 3 has the most pages, but somehow book 2 is bigger. I think all mine are the same. Okay, I think mine are all the same. I think they're... I don't know if
they look the same, but when you look at it from, like... It's, like, slight difference. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah. Wait, what's the page count?
I don't know.
370. 322.
And 305.
308 for me. Nope. Well, the acknowledgements is 308. But, yeah, 305. Alright, yeah. It doesn't seem like that, though.
No.
It's working! Yay! Ah. I love also the tail. Yeah, we've talked about the tail, and we were told not to bring it up, and I apologize because I did, and it's a thing now. It's Carden. How can you not talk about his tail? Like, Holly specifically makes the point to give him something that is strange and different, because she cookie cuts him in the beginning to seem like this perfect being and this like thing of beauty that has a little, not secret weapon, but like little secret tinge about him, if that makes sense.
I also just have to point out, if somebody says, right, if somebody's like, oh, I love Carden, he's my book boyfriend, but they're not Team Tail, you don't love Carden. He's not your boyfriend. He's not your boyfriend. You don't love Carden. You can't be Team Carden and Team No Tail. It just doesn't work like that. You can't pick and choose what parts of him to love.
And with that, good night. Oh my gosh. It's so true though. Like, honestly, like, not to bring this in the real world, but like I am, because I know there's McKinley. Ooh, okay, so, and this is not a plug, but I guess it kind of is. In the most recent Shower Thoughts video, I had a question that was, if I had a boyfriend, what's the first thing you would tell him about me? Or what's the first thing you would warn him about me?
Yeah.
And McKinley's answer was valid. The first thing that popped in her head was completely valid. But then she was like, that's also something you can't control, so she changed her answer. But it's so true. You can't pick and choose, because it's part of me, and I'm sure you've got things that, you know, you were just like, maybe let's not talk about that, but...
No, well, like, the first thing that popped into my mind when you said that was, the second you catch feelings and you tell me you catch feelings, I will push you away. I'll be like,
Well, I'm scared of physical intimacy. Anything that's not platonic, I get scared of. But Also my love language is touch. So if it's platonic, I'll like hang on people. I'll just like be hugging somebody while they're having a conversation with somebody else. I'm just like there. But yeah, I mean we've all got our quirks, our pros, our cons, our ups, our downs. We're human.
Dorian's just a poet, and I can't wait until we like read and discuss Throne of Glass, which we will be doing, you guys, but like that's like a whole feat, and we're prepared to do that on YouTube. So if you guys aren't subscribed to our YouTube, go check out. The link is in both of our bios. Like and subscribe.
Did you see that? Oh my gosh. Did
No.
everybody see that? Because I will not be doing it again. So stick, this stick is in my tea, right? I hit it, it flipped, and I caught it mid-air. Like right here. Oh my god, I hope that's in frame, because when we post this on YouTube, you've got to go back and rewatch it. Oh my god, that was so cool. Anyway, someone brought up Oak's hooves, and quite frankly, they don't bother me. They're funny to think about. I think they're humorous. But I prefer the tail still. I'm still team tail over hooves, but
can you imagine how, like, oh my gosh, if there's not a scene where Ren paints his hooves, I'm going to be disappointed. Because that would be the first thing I did. If I had a boyfriend and he had hooves, I'd be like, can I like get some nail polish and paint your hooves?
Oak would let her though, because the fact that, I mean, he's got technically, we're gonna have sisters. I don't know if Heather's technically considered a sister now, but like she helped raise him, so I don't know. But like he knows how to braid hair. I know they braided his. He would be like, "Here you go, baby." Like, he would let her. Oh, and I love him for it. Oh my gosh, reading. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but reading not Silver Flames. Reading The Stolen Heir was so conflicting internally because I love Carden. Carden. Yeah. Oak, after being with a child for so long and then suddenly he's 17, I'm like, I don't know how I feel right now. And knowing that now Carden is older. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm conflicted. I don't know what's going to happen in the next Stolen Heir book, which I think is The Prisoner's Throne or something like that, but oh my gosh. I am technically team wings, then tail, then hooves. I think I'm not against any of them. However, wings, tail, hooves. Although the tail can be more useful in certain situations, as can the wings in other situations.
Yeah, but
the hooves, I don't know, they're just there.
Enough. The men have enough. So like, they don't need wings. They've got enough. If anything, the woman needs the wings.
True. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know if I should say that. Oh no, did she leave me again? Okay.
No, I didn't leave you again. That was just my phone losing battery.
Someone said tail, wings, then hooves.
Ooh.
Okay. I can see that. Honestly, I think I actually might agree with that, because if the wings are always there, I think I'd be team tail on that one.
That depends.
If got like a restand moment where they come and go, then
depends on the man, because if his name was Asriel.
Okay. Just pull that one out of thin air.
Yeah, like, I don't know, just hypothetically. If the man Asriel existed.
If there was a man and his name started with an A and ended with Zriel.
I'm team wings. I also want to fly. Like, what can the Dale do for me? I want to fly.
If you don't know, then you don't need the tail, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously, if I'm putting my head in the gutter with you, Marianna, yeah. But I want to fly.
Oh my god, that is true. I do. I do want to fly. I mean, I've been obsessed with Peter Pan since I was born. So, whether it's wings, a jetpack, pixie dust, I don't care. I want to fly too. But yeah, I think there's definitely some debate there in the long run.
Right? We could probably have a whole nother live discussing tail, wings, hooves.
Oh my god, maybe we should. That'd be so fun. That would be so fun. What other weird horns? There's horns too, like Oak's little horns that he has.
Oh yeah, that's
Those
giving
I can
Ice
do
Planet
for right now.
Barbarians vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, wings are definitely, I would say, more aesthetically pleasing. I 100% understand that you would be like tearing through so many like shirts and like it wouldn't be practical in that aspect, like in living and
But
stuff, but like I don't care, I get to fly.
bat or angel?
A fallen angel.
Fair enough. There was literally, I don't know if you've seen the show Lucifer, but there was like one or two episodes that he had bat wings, and I flipped my shit. I literally freaked out so much that my mom was like, "Okay, what is going on with you?" She was like so concerned because he has like angel wings most of the show, and then there was like this moment where he had bat wings, and I was like, "My world is crashing." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was freaking out. It was so funny.
They do have like funky shirts.
Fancy shirts, yeah. I mean, a floppy tail. They are like a third arm. My mom thinks it's so funny. With Cedar, I use all of my limbs all the time. I was filling up a water bottle in the fridge using both my hands, and he was starting to get into the dishwasher, so I just like held my foot out to like stop him. So I was like balancing on one foot. It was funny. I don't know why I said that, but like there you go. There's a little nugget of information about me.
Nugget of information.
Little nugget of information. There is so much a tail can do. Hey, they're saying it. I'm just reading it, okay? I'm just saying. I have one to talk about. I mean, there's pros and cons to family reading the same books, depending on the book. I recommend my family spicy books, but they also live in Texas, and I don't see them often, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, I was the only one in my family that read for like a solid 8 years. And that's why I started my Bookstagram and my book talk, because I was like, I'm literally the only one. Like, they were all like, you're such a nerd, you read all the time. And now, look at me now.
Look at me now.
But that's
She's
why
a businesswoman.
That's why I've got like all of my social medias, because nobody read and everybody was like always making fun of me and reading. And then suddenly I got my mum into reading audiobooks and I got my sister into reading books. I was like, I raised yous. I created yous. Like I created that.
My dad listens to, or he listened, I don't know if he still does, to audiobooks on his way to work. But I don't think, they're not like fantasy or anything. They're usually like podcasty, like true crime, like that type. But I don't think I have. My sister has read one book voluntarily without even me telling her to, which was It Ends With Us, and I was shocked to the high heavens when she was like, "Oh my god, I read this book and it was so good." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And it was before I did. But my mom reads a little bit, not much at all. She's read like Outlander, 50 Shades, like the big one, and that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else. Do you gotta go outside, buddy? Oh man. Well, we've done really good. It's 9:44 where I am, which means we've been online for about an hour and 15 minutes, around 14 minutes.
But we finished talking about Cruel Prince after like an hour. We've just been like answering comments for 15 minutes. So like, go us.
Yay. I'm proud of us. I'm so proud.
This live will be on our YouTube if you want to rewatch, or if you joined at a random point and you didn't see the beginning. So I don't know when it will be on our YouTube, but it will be. If you follow our Instagram, we will post when it's up.
And the blog should be... Oh, wait, was I supposed to write a paragraph? I think I was supposed to write a paragraph.
Yeah, but that's about a different book. We've still got to do... We should probably...
Okay. Woo!
We do have to write a review for Cruel Prince, and I'll post that so that we can post it at the same time we post this on the YouTube.
Okay. Imagine about 5-ish months from now, maybe we'll be on one phone. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
The day we meet, that's going to be like monumental.
So, Libby, do you want to explain that newest comment? Our plan for that before I say what I'm going to say?
Tog next, yes. So we are going to discuss Tog, but our lives typically only go for an hour and they're not planned out at all. We kind of just jump on and go, let's hope for the best and discuss the book. For Tog, we want to do it book by book. So we're going to discuss book one, and it's Throne of Glass. You guys, if you've read it, you know we're gonna go in deep discussion about it, and so each book is probably gonna take we will probably record it separately in a Skype, or together, we want to be together, and it will probably go for about an hour, and we want to edit the video, so it'll go on our YouTube instead of live.
Poppy! That's our dog Poppy, everybody. Say hi to Poppy.
So we will do Throne of Glass, but we're going to do that one properly. And hopefully when we're together.
I think it'd probably be more fun that way, because then we can not have to worry about, like, screen to screen. Like, you can be, like, sitting here, or I can be sitting wherever you are, whether it's in Canada or here or wherever. But I'm excited. I do have to let Cedar out. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and go follow both of our TikToks, and Tea Stain Pages Books on Instagram, Tea Stain Pages on YouTube. You can find it. I know I have my YouTube channel linked in my bio, but it's a featured channel on my channel. So you're awesome too. Thank you so much for joining us and commenting and participating. It's more fun that way when you guys are like, we love it. Yay!
We'll see you guys next time. We do these lives like every month.
We do. And sometimes we go live just for the heck of it, and it's fun. Mm-hmm. So come hang out with us. Bye! Bye.